The part of the story was these chimpanzees, these isolated population of 14 chimpanzees that are in this small Gishwati Forest. So we took off one morning on a hike that we thought, might last a few hours, and a few hours into it, I think we had seen one mountain monkey and some birds and some very nice scenery, but no chimps. And as you'll hear in a minute, we started to see evidence that the chimps were close. The only question was whether we'd ever catch up with them.
Okay, so Safari just spotted a fresh nest. We're on our way to look for a chimp that he just saw across the valley. Looks like they spent the night here very recently, and it looks like we see one nest so far. We can look around and see if we see any other nests. It looks like maybe just one in this area, so the chimp might be alone. Safari can look around and see if we see other nests. Is this the trail? Okay. So this is a sign that maybe this is a recent trail that they've used. Do you think this is the best way to go, or should we go around, or should we try this way? Go around and then meet it? Ah, there we go. We can know it's a fresh trail because we can see a fresh food site. So we know it's a fresh trail because we can see this is a fresh food site. This is bamboo, and there's recently been a chimp here enjoying this bamboo. So this helps us to know that we're on the right track. It's definitely encouraging because in the dry season it's a lot more difficult for them to find food, and so it's good to know that they're definitely getting a lot of food. This is a fresh waj of bamboo. It's so they chew it, and then they get all the juice and nutrients out of it, and then they spit it out after they've chewed it. So it's still wet, so it's good. But this is actually how we find our fecal samples too. So we'll walk along these trails and we'll find fresh fecal material that we'll use to collect. We have to collect fresh material for diet and for collecting for samples for DNA analysis and virus analysis and parasite analysis. So this is a kind of a good example of how our daily search for fecal material. We just heard the vocalizations, and we heard them several hundred meters up that way. So we came along a fresh trail and tried to follow the trail to where we heard the vocalizations. Then we heard others a little bit down, so we've moved this way, and they must be within meters, but now they're quiet and there's no movement, so it's really difficult to see. So we're just sitting and waiting to see if they'll call again, to see if we can visually see them. There's a chance that they're on the ground, so they're going to be very difficult to see. If they do climb up into a tree, that would be great. Often they'll call and climb up into a tree to kind of look at you and vocalize. Other times when it's a small number of individuals, they'll just call and run. So they could either be quite far now after they've just run, or they could be close and waiting for us. So I'm not quite sure yet, so we'll see.
Without a doubt, they know we're here.
Exactly. They know we're here. We're extremely close to them, really close. They're right somewhere around here. Right now we're watching a male we've called Gishwati because he has some missing toes. And in Kinyarwanda, Gishwati is means like missing a limb or something like that.
Before this trip, I had some appreciation for how hard scientists work, but I had followed the work of some scientists in some other settings, but not scientists that were studying great apes in the wild. And these are scientists who get up in the morning at 4 or 4:30, pretty much no matter what the weather's like, knowing they're going to get rained on at some point, knowing they're going to be climbing trails that are muddy and slick, and in this case, knowing that they're going to be climbing hills and mountains that have no trail because of the way their scientific sampling is set up. Science is a dirty, rigorous job. We got a taste of it that day, and a newfound respect for what these scientists and their assistants go through every single day.